I know we alluded to it in the last episode as like a teaser. Well, we've been teasing this for like what, 5 episodes?
Yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, I guess I mean now's as good time in any. Thanks for tuning in to Yappin and Shit, where we as brothers and friends hop on the mics and have conversations. Sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're not. Sometimes we react, and sometimes we just yap. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you enjoy the episode.
What's going on?
So, man, you test your mic before we hopped on
I
today?
did, and the mic still doesn't work, dude.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's because it's so weird because I thought I upgraded the firmware by plugging into my other thing. I even updated Zoom real quick,
yeah.
because nope. See, watch. Let me switch it real quick. Check.
Oh, yeah, you still sound all
Yeah,
weird.
still all robotic-y. Yeah. How's that now? I'm just
Yeah, I mean, you sound just like
yeah, a cheap mic.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's weird, man.
I
But
know. Yeah,
that's
have to
what.
figure that one out. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, for now, I mean, we'll just kind of keep going. I just have it holding on to it for just an accessory, but not gonna even be able to use it.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. I wonder if did you test it like on your other computer too? Like if you were to
no.
if you listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm curious because if it does that on like multiple computers,
Yeah.
then
It's
maybe
probably
yeah,
just like
something
damaged.
happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll figure that out. Maybe get a new mic or maybe just a new plug in general.
Yeah.
Things been dying around my house electronic wise. Like I for all my TVs, I stick to Amazon Fire Stick.
Oh yeah.
And so the one in my bedroom, granted that it's old, just stopped working out of nowhere. And
Oh, for
so
real? Oh, geez.
yeah, so ended up buying a new one, refurbished because you don't need to buy that
Yeah.
brand new. Um, so bought it refurbished, plugged it in, worked perfectly. So it definitely wasn't the TV or any outlets. It was, yeah. So just all these devices just dying, man.
Axel
Apple,
sabotaging you, man. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, that or Apple iPhone 16 Pro is sabotaging all electronics so that you have to buy new stuff each time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, no, we'll figure it out. We got a couple weeks to see what we can do in the meantime. But
Oh yeah, for sure. And
yeah,
I know we alluded to it in the last episode as like a teaser. Well, we've been teasing this for like what, 5 episodes?
yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, I guess I mean now's as good time in any. You probably heard it in the intro because we obviously changed the intro up
Yeah,
or are in the process. No, I'm just kidding. By the
yeah,
time you hear this, we have already updated it. But yeah, we've kind of rebranded, changed our name a little bit. Um we are now what we yapping and shit.
Yappin and shit, shiz.
Shiz,
Yeah,
for those that
yeah,
are
yapping.
don't like
Yeah,
saying the word.
yeah.
But you'll
Uh,
notice like in the cover art and all that stuff, obviously we tried to be somewhat nice about it in terms of not actually putting the word shit on there. But yeah, no, I think not even I think we thought it was a good idea just to kind of at this point, 230 episodes in, we've been doing this a while. I don't even know what that is in terms of when our first episode came out. I have no idea. 230, quick math. What is that? We've been doing this for
yeah,
4 years now, just over 4 years.
yeah, just about.
Ish.
Yeah, I mean, we started during the pandemic. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, that's true.
honestly,
That's true.
it's one of those things to kind of record our lives, record our friends' lives, and just kind of get on and yap, right? That's
Yeah,
what that
yeah,
yap and shit. Because at first it started as real talk, but sometimes life isn't all that serious, and
yeah,
sometimes we just want to get on and you know recap what our weekly vibes was, what shit was going on in our lives,
yeah,
our friends lives, our guests lives, and just yap. And sometimes what comes from the yap could be sometimes we hit on it, we miss on an episode because sometimes, it was just an uneventful week.
Yeah.
Other times, the yap can spawn into, who knows, deep discussions, not firework,
Fireside, fire,
fireside talk, where
campfire. Yeah.
campfire talks, where, some of the deepest conversations happen, during those late at night vibes when you're just chilling with your friends, family, loved ones, right? So, for now, I mean, we could evolve again, but in the meantime, all we're doing is yapping and shit and having a good time. Just kind of like what we do if you follow along with all our other episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about, how even the smallest things, even if it's just a 20-minute check-in, just say hi to each other, to catch up and see how our day is going. Sometimes that goes a long way in terms of us continuing to grow with each other, right? That's because that's always our closing tagline, that we've been doing every single episode for the past 4 years,
Yeah.
in some form or another. So, but
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
now,
Even when you're not here, we got to carry it on somehow.
yeah.
I
So
do
we
my
just,
best to say
yeah,
your little line. No, I'm just kidding. But
yeah,
yeah, no. It's if you've been here a while and you've been following the journey, it's one of those things. We've evolved. There's a lot of evolution that's happened in this podcast, in our lives, in just the vision that we had for a lot of things. And I think, at the time, obviously, if you've been with us from the beginning, that we set out and we had a kind of a mission of sharing stories, but also like doing real talk kind of things, right? Because you have to have those hard hitting conversations at times. But for us to last this long, we've obviously definitely we've kept it real, but we goof around too. We yap. That's what we do. We just figured it was time for a change, just because, to your point, Stephen, it's just, not everything is going to be super serious, like,
mm-hmm.
and like I said, if you've been with us from the beginning, you've seen that evolution. You saw us struggle and learn how to really start a podcast and come up with topics. And, you could hear it in our voices kind of maybe just about a year in, there wasn't necessarily passion in our voices at that point because it was a struggle. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we kept this going every week, but
yeah,
man, instead of us catching up and just like, checking in on each other's mentals and all that stuff, we would stress about this 3 days in advance, saying like, what the fuck are we talking about?
yeah.
What
Like we
kind of
would try to
topics do we
force
have?
it,
Yeah, we were
right? Like we
forcing topics. We were trying to
like
come up with prompts and,
Yeah, but
you
sometimes the
know,
best things comes from just being real to ourselves, right? We might not be the most the most charismatic or the best storytellers or the funniest people, but by being real is kind of a marks a little blip in the world, right?
oh
And
yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, and and that was kind of our thing, because I think and don't get us wrong, like we still obviously have, OSYL, Our Stories Your Legacy. That did kind of fall off, but the goal is always to kind of get back to that. That's under the umbrella of what we do. That's just one of the
Yeah.
outlets that we go through, and that's going to be more of the real talk kind of area. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we share our stories and really leave that like legacy that we've always talked about. And that's kind of where we're going to move most of our serious talks, right? Our interviews, our discussions, like that, like
Hmm.
more real talk about who we are, how we got to where we are, and
Hmm.
what we hope we leave behind, kind of thing. So all that stuff it's still there. It's the umbrella. That's just a different lane at this point in our umbrella of things. So who knows when we get back to that project, that
Hmm.
passion project. It's always going to be there. We started it out there. That's kind of our baby. That's our first huge project in terms of what this is. And that's kind of how this podcast started, just because we did that. But as we mature and learn and grow, obviously we evolved.
Hmm.
And there was that point where we were forcing things, and it was tough. And then we kind of made that transition of reacting to Am I the Asshole, because that was
Yeah.
kind of one of those things. We would just grab one and just go and react and
Yeah.
do these things, and we have a better flow. You know what I mean? It wasn't always going to be like, oh, let's interview each other. Because
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Because, you know, like obviously in an interview, you're interviewing, but as a podcast,
Yeah.
you just want to yap and you want to bounce off each other and like give each other shit and all that stuff. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Like we evolved essentially is
Yeah.
what happened is, you know, we kind of moved on. We went to the reactions. You know, we've seen a number of different people on this pod. You know, it's always going to be the three of us in terms of how we started this whole passion project to begin with, us two, and then bringing folks into it as well. Obviously, Zavon is still very much a part of this project. He's just, you know, he's doing his own thing, and
Hmm.
that's fine. That's kind of why we have this whole umbrella of things of media of what we do, right?
Hmm.
Um, Lost Dogs Media or whatever, you know, you'll see that title thrown around as well, kind of in some of our rebranding stuff, just because that's kind of the overarching thing that's kind of been laying in the background, right?
Hmm.
So that's kind of our overarching thing. So he's focusing on, you know, all the stuff that he's doing. You know, he's building his portfolio and doing all that stuff, which, you know, we're never gonna say like you can't do that, right? Because that's his passion, that's his thing.
Hmm.
He makes music, he digs photography, he does those things.
Yeah.
So he's not gone. He is still around. We still talk to him. We do all those things. And then, you know, obviously you saw the transition to when we were doing asshole episodes, and you know, we brought Dustin in. Dustin was with us for shit,
For like a
oh,
year,
year and a
two
half,
years.
almost two
Yeah.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in here, and you know, we started out doing "Am I the Asshole?" because, you know, it just made sense. Because Dustin, if you're listening, you're an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's no, it's one of those things. It was fun. It was all good fun. And then we just got back into yapping and shit. Honestly, like, you know, we say that just like yapping and shit because that's literally what it was. We would catch up with each other. You know, we'd talk about our highs, talk about our lows, what's going on in our lives. You know, where we're at. Um, you know, and unfortunately Dustin had to step away for a little bit because, you know, he had to, you know, he had to do his life things, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
life comes up. That's the real talk part, right? Is that stuff comes up, and,
Yeah.
you know, he's gone but not forgotten. He'll be back at some point. He'll hop on. He just can't commit to, you know, weekly episodes and all that stuff,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. The fact that we've even kept this going for 231 weeks is pretty impressive, honestly. But
Yeah.
it's a good thing, you know. I get to talk to you, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't. It's one of those things, like, you know, I don't talk to everybody every day of the week or anything, or, you know, most people I barely. I it's bad to say that, but barely talk to. But that's just how life goes, you
Yeah.
know. You know, like, we'll text and do all that stuff, but chatting and stuff, like, consistently doing it once a week. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's good. It keeps us kind of grounded. It keeps us chit
Yeah.
chatting, yapping, all that stuff. So no, it's been good, but that's kind of how we got to this point today. You know, we've been playing with the idea, teasing it, toying it around. But yeah, we've kind of evolved from the real talk portion of it. You know, it's not always so
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Obviously, when life gets serious, we talk about serious stuff. But, you know, most of the time we're talking about random shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just
Yeah.
like why Ray drafted Bo Nix. You know what I mean? Just like funny stuff like that. And he's still
Yeah.
avoiding us. You know, Ray, if you're listening, you owe us an episode, my man. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. We won't forget.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
you know, like, we've had guests come in over this time as well, and it's kind of funny because, you know, they've also been part of that, you know, evolution and seen what that transition has been like. You know, a
yeah.
lot of them like were with us in the early days as guests, and they were like, "Oh, this is way different than what we did the first time around." And then even the third iteration, and then 200 episodes in, they'd be like, "Oh, wow, you changed again." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because we got more comfortable." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It and
that's it
life
is.
changes, man, and discussion changes, right? Like, like like rappers, right? This, I mean, we're not comparing ourselves to rappers, but like you're looking at couple rappers who started out in the early 2000s, right? The genre at the time was selling drugs, right? Making it out of gangs, right? And then as the artists themselves grow out of that phase, you're now a billionaire, multi-millionaire business owner, you know, you're not going to keep rapping about drugs, your life change, right? It's not like
Yeah.
we're talking about drugs in our episode, but just as that analogy, life changes year to year, day to day, month to month, and sometimes our conversation changes, but the thing is that we stay yapping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We always yap. That's
yeah,
for sure. That is
yeah.
for sure.
Well, here you go. New pod name going forward. Um, Probably it's gonna stay like that for the foreseeable future until, who knows what will happen the next 5 years, next
Yeah.
decade, right?
I know, right? Next 230 episodes, maybe we'll
Yeah,
have a change of heart and word.
maybe we'll have young toddlers by then, both of us, and like we change our pod to something kid friendly, with our kids on the pod as well. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Can you imagine
Yeah,
just having kids on here?
yeah. All right. Well, it's a short week, but I got to let's get to that portion where we're reacting to a couple articles that
Oh yeah,
I
for sure.
saved for you this week. First one, let's stick to, because last week was a pretty short episode. If all y'all were listening, one of the biggest headlines was Shohei Ohtani, getting his record, and then we went off on a tangent about the guy who fought for the ball and the high school kid was trying to sue him because they're trying to sell it. um the last I heard of it, I think the bidding was over 1 million by now,
Yeah, yeah. I
for the
think it
ball. But
was 1.5 last I saw it,
yeah,
but I don't remember what it's at
yeah.
now.
But anyways, that's kind of old news. But related to baseball, there was another fun history fact made that I just learned about, and it kind of hits close to home because my in-laws, this is their team. As you probably know, the Chicago White Sox recently made history, but
Yeah.
a wrong side of the history,
Yeah,
where they
man.
were the first team in MLB history since the 1900s. We're not talking about like 1990. We're talking about 1900, like before the Great Depression, you know, um, for having the most losses in a single season. I had to look this up because you know me, I'm not a baseball fan, or I'm a fair weather fan. I watch it when we go to games, but I don't follow it along like that. So they made history by losing 121 games in one season. And me watching more basketball, football, I know how many games are in a season. I was mind blown at first because I was like, wait, that's a lot. So I was kind of confused with the history in the making. I thought like it was like 120 games, I don't know, in a span of certain years. No, this is one season, because how many games are in a season? 189
162.
or 162. So um you know let me just grab my calculator real quick.
That is
Yeah, 121 divided by
they're
162.
literally like a quarter. They won just over 25% of their games.
Yeah, almost 75% of their season is losses. Three
Yeah.
quarter, I mean, that's a wild stat to me, right? I mean, well, okay, I mean, I guess it can't be that wild. We have teams like the Detroit Lions, right, going 0-16, right?
True.
But I don't know, man. Do you feel okay compared to the Detroit Lions and the Chicago White Sox? Who's worse in their in? Yes, I know both sports are different, but but given your knowledge of both sports, what's worse?
Honestly, what's worst? Oh
Yeah,
god.
the
I would
White
say
Sox
the White
record.
Sox, bro.
Yeah,
I I don't know, man. Like football's hard. Football, they, kept competitive. I mean, they didn't win a game, right?
yeah,
So
which
you
is
could
zero
make you
percent.
can you can make the argument that that was worse because they didn't even win.
Yeah,
Um,
stat wise, yes, 100% loss versus 75% loss.
yeah,
But
yeah,
however, in respect to the sports, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Since you're in tune with both sports, you would say the White Sox in regards to baseball being worse.
Yes,
Jeez.
absolutely. I think it was just it was funny because it's like when you would watch just replays or even watching the White Sox,
Yeah.
like just when you thought they couldn't do anything else to lose or
Yeah.
do something bad in the field, like, bro, I kid you not, watching this, they
Yeah.
found ways to be more embarrassing than the day before. And I'm just like, I have no idea how bad that is. You know what I mean? Um, it is nuts. And we, I obviously like do fantasy. I'm a big baseball guy.
Yeah.
So I have a fantasy baseball squad, and we have a league and all that stuff. And some of the people in it. And one of the guys is a White Sox fan. And
Yeah.
it's funny because one of the guys is also a Mets fan.
Yeah.
Um, so it was kind of funny in joking early in the season was that, like, oh, the White Sox are on pace because last year they weren't good either, the White Sox. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's funny because like this guy like tweeted last year and they were like, wow, the White Sox had the worst season ever in the history of the White Sox. Like the good thing is that we can only go up from here. And then a year later, like literally a
It's
year on the
worse.
dot, it was
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, it's worse.
That's
So
so
it's
funny.
kind of funny, but
Yeah.
no, but the previous team that held that record for most losses in history was the Mets.
Yeah.
So it's it's kind
But
of funny that like yeah,
yeah.
so they were kind of joking about it in this group chat way back early on in the season. It was like, I hope the Mets keep the record for the most losses. And so it's
Well, so the Mets was that back in the 1900s?
yeah, 1962 I think is when
Oh, okay.
they I mean, it's like one of those things. I think here, let me pull it up just because I stats wise. So White Sox this year now currently because they did win the last couple games.
Yeah.
Good for them. Um, hold the record for 121 losses. The 1962 Mets had 120 losses. The
Oh, jeez.
2003 Detroit Tigers 119. The 1916 Athletics 117. The 2018 Orioles 115, and then the 1935 Braves at a 115.
Mm,
And
jeez.
those are the worst losing teams of all time in baseball
Wow.
since the early 1900s. And I think there was only two other teams that lost 100 games this year. I know the Marlins hit it right on the dot. They lost 100 games on the dot. I think the Angels avoided that in our division. I think they got 99 losses, so that's a good thing. But I think the Rockies had like 101 losses,
Yeah.
um, which it's not great, but just to put it in perspective, just how bad the White Sox did this year, um, which is crazy,
That
because
is
that's
wild.
a
Yeah.
that's a lot of losing. That's a lot of
Yeah.
losing.
Yeah.
And the only reason I think it's worse, honestly, is that yeah, there's 162 games in a season, but like to go out there every day and usually you might get tired and performance might dip and stuff, but like I feel like going out there every day and getting through the majority of the season and still finding ways to embarrass yourself during the season, like
Yeah.
that's bad, dude. That's pretty
Yeah.
sad. I saw a play last week. This ball was hit to the shortstop. And for those who play baseball, that's obviously the gap between second and third. Granted, they had it shift a little bit, but that ball was hit to the shortstop. The second baseman from the other side of second base cut off the shortstop to get the ball and then tried to make a crazy throw across his body to first base. Guy obviously was
Jeez.
safe, but like that was the shortstop ball. I was just like, this explains so much on why they are so bad. because this guy obviously was just like, he ran across the diamond to get the ball, cut off the shortstop. No, when you're on the same side of the field, if you can cut it off and your momentum's going to first base, then by all
Yeah.
means, that's what they teach you. When you're running away from first base and you cut off the guy moving towards first base, there's an issue. So I'm like, how did you make it to the major leagues if you're doing that? Like, come on.
Right. That
Yeah,
is,
yeah. Oof. Yeah, so I don't know. That's up there, man. I don't know.
yeah.
That's a pretty bad. I mean, not to so those other teams I just listed as far as baseball, bad, but like I don't know. I just don't remember ever seeing a team like. I mean, we talked about the 2008 Detroit Lions 0 and 16. The 2017 Browns, I think, went 0 and 16 as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I can think of, I don't even know, like the White Sox. That's just bad.
Yeah. Detroit Lions, Cleveland Browns. Um,
Yeah, the
yeah.
only other time I think that I can think of as like a horrible, horrible team, and I'm sure there's um other ones as well, like in basketball. When we were in college, uh, and they're not even a team anymore, the Charlotte Bobcats. Like I think that was one of the
Never met.
shortened seasons, right? There was a shortened season that year. They didn't even play a full 82 games, but like I think technically they only won like 7 games that entire season.
Jeez.
That was when we were in college. And I think
Yeah.
that was in the midst of our Jomar throwing a chair for buying LeBron for $5 era.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, no, I think the Charlotte Bobcats won only like 7 games. Granted, the season was shortened for I can't remember what reason, probably a strike or a holdout or something. Um, but yeah, no, I mean it was probably yeah, I can imagine it was a lockout, but I think they only won like 7 games that year.
Yeah. They had a
So it's
10% winning percentage.
10%, bro. That
Yeah.
is That is insane. I'm sure there's some hockey stat out there and some soccer stat out there as well, but like,
Yeah.
amongst the worst teams, like, oh man, I don't know. The White Sox are up there for sure. I would say that I honestly think they are worse than the Lions and probably the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's I guess that raises the question, right? Is it harder as a fan of these teams? Is it harder to be a fan of a team that loses 16 games with a full week in between the games? Because football is only once a week.
Yeah.
So is it harder to be a fan of like the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns for losing 16 games and that spans over the course of 4 months?
Yeah.
Or is it harder to be a fan trying to tune in every night to the baseball games for 162 games and you're just repeatedly watching teams lose? Because like I'll
Yeah.
be honest, like when the Mariners were on like a 7 game losing streak, boy, that was miserable. Like I had to sit there every day for a week. I know I tortured myself in this situation,
Yeah.
but like I was like, damn, how can these guys disappoint me today? And they'd have a day off and I'm like, they can't hurt me today. I'm good. I'm good. We joked about that all the time, but man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's like my fantasy, my luck. This,
Yeah.
not to jump sports or anything like that. Like my fantasy, prime to win, and then Patrick Mahomes tackle his own receiver and potentially tore
Oh
his
yeah. Yeah.
ACL.
I saw
I
that.
lost. I lost by like 4 points, and
Jeez.
I definitely wouldn't have lost had that not happened. But I
Yeah.
digress. That's in a different category. But again, it's like, oh man, here's another week of depression for the week. But
Yeah.
so I don't know. I guess as a team, I would say I'd say the White Sox are pretty bad. But going 0 and 16 when you have a week to prepare for a team, I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like baseball is harder to play in a lot of regards. So it might be harder, but I don't know. At least they won some games. The
Yeah.
football teams didn't win
Yeah.
anything. So
That's true.
yeah, so I guess that's the argument, is that they just won nothing.
Yeah.
And you showed up to, I mean, both sports teams showed up to the games with paper bags and their over their heads and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just thinking as a fan though, from that perspective, like what's worse? What hurts you more?
Yeah.
At least football, it's like, oh, okay, I can only be hurt once a week. And then I kind of let it go. And then it comes back and I'm like, oh, God, this team. I mean, we had some pretty bad Seahawks seasons too. So um, totally get it. But I don't know. Baseball, that one's tough. That one's tough. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's worse. Statistically, I'd probably say baseball. But
Yeah.
but I don't know, man. Football is
No.
also up there in terms of what's worse.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's debate it in the comments, or if our friends listening to us, let us know what you think. Drop us a line. Final, moving on, final article of the night. I thought this was pretty insane. I mean, maybe it's insane to me, but um, we hear about like CEOs, all that stuff, getting paid, like let's throw out a number there. Uh let's non Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or Zuckerberg, or Bill Gates type employee. But let's say for like a high ranking employee, right? Maybe below the CEO or in the C suite, but maybe not as like famous or whatever. Just think of like maybe even include sports in this, right? The highest paying employee in the world. What number you know what number would you assign to pay them, like salary wise? Like just probably one of the best employees in the world. What would you
the,
consider?
the best employee in the world
Yeah, whether
for
it's
your company.
for the top company in the world, just like let's say Tesla, Amazon, it doesn't matter. However, I'm not talking about like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. I'm talking about like, let's say they're second in command or third in command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would I give them?
Yeah, like what would you pay? What would you pay that employee?
And we're basing this off of like Jeff
It could be
Bezos
anything.
type of money.
Sure. Yeah, it could be
Maybe not that.
yeah. All right, maybe yeah. The point that I'm getting is cuz uh somebody just got offered, quote from the article, an
Yeah, yeah.
ungodly sum of money, a salary to get hired to this team. So,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I guess it really depends on the team, but like if you're just
Yeah.
thinking like a normal team, like it really depends on what like your I don't know, your director, I don't know. It kind of depends, right? Because your executive director, your president, or your whatever you want to call it, general manager, I don't know, whatever it
Yeah.
is in your area. I guess it depends on what they're making, and then you base it off of them. If you're
Yeah.
paying for a second command,
Just so
I
that I could give
imagine
you,
it's six
yeah.
figures, right?
Yeah, just so that I could give you a little bit, just so you could get closer to a better number. Let's say it's the top five companies in the world. So it could be
Got it.
whether it's Google, Amazon, Facebook, or Meta, Apple,
Yeah,
right? So one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
companies, right? So don't go mom and pop. I'm talking about one of those companies. What would you shell out for like a crazy amount of money for probably one of the best employees in the world that's not your CEO, right? Obviously, your
Yeah,
CEO is the highest paid.
right. I guess that I guess that really depends on what they make over the course of the year. I'm trying to think like in those companies, like what does the CEO make, right?
True, true.
Because
Actually,
like
I don't know what a CEO makes, but I'm assuming like someone like Tim Cook. Well, actually, I don't even know, is Tim Cook even a billionaire? I don't think he is, right?
I don't think so.
All
But
right. So if we're just talking about, let's eliminate Tim Cook's, but if we're just talking about like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, those are billionaires, right? So their
yeah.
salary is like $1 billion,
Oh, easily. Yeah.
right?
Let me
Yeah,
I'm curious, like what
yeah.
year
Let's say Mark Zuckerberg. What does he make in a year?
Mark
Let's look that up.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
What does Mark
Zuckerberg
Zuckerberg
yearly
make in a year?
income. He took
Okay.
well, according to this, 2022, he took home $27.1 million.
Okay. But that's not including his net worth in like
No, that's not
stocks and stuff.
including his net
Yeah.
worth. This is just like
Yeah.
his total compensation in 2022, which included private security costs and a base salary of $1. Oh, that's because got it. That's interesting. Made 20.
Oh, well, okay, maybe he's not a good example.
Yeah,
So
Zuckerberg's thing
Elon
was,
Musk.
I was going to say, it says Zuckerberg made $1 as an annual
Yeah,
salary,
I
and
saw that
everything else
too.
was made as other income.
Okay, see, same with Elon Musk. His
Got it.
salary for the company is $0 because he's getting compensated through other things. Okay, these guys don't make sense.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just looked
let's
up
go.
Bezos. His annual salary is 81,800.
Yeah,
But his total compensation is 160 or 1.68 million. 81,000 of that was salary, 0 was bonus, 0 in stock, which is funny.
okay.
1.6 million came from
Yeah.
other types of compensation.
So just like
Okay,
these
let's
guys,
think of maybe a different. What's a I don't even know what a good company to even look at what a CEO makes on a yearly basis, right?
yeah, it's fine. We'll skip through it.
Okay, just for
yeah,
like, let's go to like something that I know, right?
yeah,
Let's say you go to the University of whatever.
yeah,
The majority of presidents will make somewhere between 800,000 and like 1.3 million.
yeah,
That's probably the annual salary, or average annual salary falls between those numbers for the president or the chancellor or whatever that person is.
yeah.
That's rough estimate, right? So like UW's president, I think, makes about $800,000 a year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
The former president, I think, made $1.1 million a year.
Jeez.
So that's just an example. So if you were saying like, I don't know, whoever your second in command is, I guess that would be what, your CFO, maybe CFO.
Yeah.
I mean, your chief financial officer is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine, I would say maybe they make 25 to 30% of what the president makes. You know what I mean? I guess it really depends, right? Like if we're looking at like a school system, say your president makes, I don't know, 800,000, they would probably, let's just say $1 million. So your CFO maybe make 300,000. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking like 30% of whatever the main person's making. I feel like that's somewhat accurate. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm so out of touch with business that
same. But
that I don't actually know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Just get to this article now before just so that we get to the point of it and react to it. Yeah, Tim Cook, Elon Musk. Tim Cook is actually a billionaire by net worth. I just looked it up, but him, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, they're pulling a Tom Brady, they're pulling a Otani, right? Where on their base pay is like zero to a median income salary, right? But then their net worth is via other ways, right? So, like for example, Tim Cook is making $3 million a year, like base salary from Apple. But his net worth is a lot higher. But anyways, besides the point, this article. So the company that I'm talking about is Google, right? So I recently they just offered to pay one single person who actually quit the company back in 2021. Google is trying to pay them back by to hire them back by paying them one time 2.7 billion would it be?
Billion.
billion
Billion.
would it
Wow.
be one time.
That's insane.
To be fair, officially, this guy is a apparently he created his own AI like tech, and he's like kind of like an AI genius that's not like, oh, what is that, Sam Altman or whatever. I don't know who those other AI chat GPT engineers are, but apparently he's like an underrated or under the radar, well, I guess according to the tech world, he's like a like Einstein of AI right now. But anyways, he quit 2021 because he actually went to Google to try to offer Google his AI product, and they flatly refused him. So he quit to go like start up his own company and do his own thing. Now Google is trying to buy him back. So part of that 2.7 billion
Mhm.
is not only to hire him, but also to license his AI
Oh,
product. But
wait, who is
one
this again?
person, his name is Noam Shazeer.
Wait,
Um,
hold on.
Noam
I'm curious.
Shazeer. Yeah. I haven't really actually,
Let me look at this guy.
yeah.
Um, no. Okay. That's not the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah. But um apparently Google he accepted it. I'm just
Y-
looking at updated articles right now.
Well, I
Yeah.
was gonna say his LinkedIn says that he works for Google.
Yeah. Looks like let me see. Um Looks like he accepted it. But which is crazy. They offered him 2.7 billion would it be to hire him. And
Yeah.
then technically license his AI product, but still 2.7 billion. He's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty crazy and good for him. And it's pretty wild.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, I would love to hear a bigger story
insane.
about him. I mean, like for someone to create an AI product that is now trending now for a company like Google to basically say, nah, we don't care about that. And then now they're like backtracking, saying like, shit, we had him in that product already in-house and we fucked up. So now we have to pay him that much, which is crazy. So who knows? Maybe, the way that AI is shaping up, it could be peanuts from Google to pay him this, or it could be a huge mistake on Google's part, not the engineer. Um, yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm trying to remember who was the damn, I can't remember who the person was last year because I went to a conference and he used to work for Google. Um, damn, I can't remember who it was now. Well,
I mean,
I
send me
digress.
a
I don't
text.
really.
Yeah, send me a text if you find it. Um,
Yeah, let me. Yeah, I was just trying to think. I'm like, there was a guy talking about AI and all that stuff, obviously, because AI is all over the place at this
yeah,
point.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I don't know if I have that list. I'm trying to figure out where it would be. Oh wait, hold on. Well, let me see. Let me see. Well, I don't think that's going to work.
Well, if you figure it out offline, send me a text, and then we'll put it as an update.
Oh yeah,
Because
no, for sure.
yeah, because it's all the time we got today. Let's end it on a good note. Shout out to sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, Noam Shazeer, for living the dream, grinding, never giving up on his dreams and his product. And look at that, Google made a huge mistake, had to pay him billion outright.
That is
Yeah,
crazy to me.
yeah,
But whatever.
yep.
Let's
Well,
see.
anyways, while you're looking that up, let's wrap it up. Any final thoughts, final quotes to end the night before we wrap it up and call it good night?
No, I think I know I'm trying to think of a good quote or anything like that. Well, I guess just thanks for tuning in to 231. New title, new us. I don't know. New season. I don't know. I don't know what to call
Yeah.
this transition, but
We'll call it new season.
yeah, we'll just call it a new
Anyway,
season.
yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to Yappin and Shit and this new season. And we are going to continue doing our thing. And signing off for the first time of this new season. Like I said, keep the dialogue going, keep talking with each other, keep thinking together, keep growing together. We'll see y'all next time.